You said you don't cook by recipe, you cook by color. What does cook by color mean?
Recipes are bullshit. Even the ones that I create. Take it in this sense. Dress your food the same way that you dress yourself. And if you play that throughout the course of the season, you're good to go 100%.
So if I'm wearing this today, what am I putting on the food?
You can do...
We have Chef Marcus Moore. Hey, all right.
On this episode, we're joined by Chef Marcus Moore, culinary creator and founder of Cook by Color. He's known for making flavors simple, healthy, and unforgettable.
Our people, blacks and Latinos, dying at a crazy rate, health issues.
Right, hypertension, diabetes, all that stuff.
Obesity, anything that I did or brought to market, helped them eat clean and eat healthier. My brand is the cleanest label on the market. Nice. It has no GMO, no MSG, no additives, and no preservatives.
I've seen a lot of your videos and your pictures of you putting things together and cooking. It's not just cooking, you're dressing this food. What does that do when it comes to the relationship of eating? What does that do specifically?
It's based on your mood and how you feel.
So you're saying like when you dress up that food and make it look sexy, it's putting you in a different type of mindset?
The idea of
Welcome to another episode of a Healthy Point of View podcast. I'm your host, Sam Tejada, and as usual, we're bringing experts from all over the world to talk about health, wellness, beauty, and mindset. Today, our guest comes all the way from Dallas, Texas. So, we always talk about all the food that we eat, but what about what we flavor our food with? What are we doing? What are we putting on our food? Does it make sense? Does it enhance our taste buds? Is it healthy? Today, we have Chef Marcus Moore. Hey, all right. Brother, welcome to a Healthy Point of View podcast.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Man, this is the first time I ever have a chef on the podcast, you know? I got everybody always, I cook healthy, this, that, but we got a chef.
Absolutely.
Right? And you got your brand here, right? With your products, your seasonings, and everything else. But before we talk about any of that,
okay,
the listeners of yours want to know who Marcus Moore is. So we're going to go way back to like when you were around 5 years old. What was your upbringing?
Wow. So born, out of Chicago. Born and raised there.
Midwest, Chi-Town.
Chi-Town, Windy City.
Yeah, I'm from Milwaukee, so we're neighbors.
Yeah, that's close.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Being kicked out of the kitchen, for one, it's interesting, man. It's like the things that draw your attention to certain things kind of leads your path, and you don't know that you're actually on that particular path. You're just doing the things that you care for and you like, right?
Right.
So, watching my mother cook in the kitchen, watching my grandmother cook in the kitchen, I noticed that there wasn't any men in the kitchen. Like there was, some of my tios, cook barbecue from a grilling perspective, quote unquote, the manly thing to do, but there wasn't any certified like cooks in the kitchen, doing the thing. It was always like the women in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So it kind of, took notes from them and inspired me, but also got kicked out of the kitchen because I was in the way, as they called it. So, so I paid attention from afar.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I get that, and I understand that being Dominican, right? Where back then a lot of the Dominican men were just you weren't in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Right. My father, I remember. One time my mom went away. She went to Dominican Republic for some kind of family function.
Okay.
And my father was stuck watching all four of us. I'm the youngest out of four. And, oh, man, he attempted. I don't know if he attempted murder or attempted to feed us. But what he cooked, and he even talks about it till today, he was like, man, I didn't understand why you guys weren't eating what I cooked until I tried it afterwards. And he even said it was horrible. So, one of the things that I learned from that, I told myself, I says, well, I want to learn how to cook myself.
Okay.
And I'd go in the kitchen, kind of same thing how you said, and you always kind of get kicked out.
Hmm.
And eventually, my mom started showing me a few things, but it wasn't until I worked at the fire department where I learned how to cook because the guys at the
Okay, cooking
firehouse,
for the guys. Yeah.
we cook at the firehouse, man. We
Okay.
cook, we smoke food, we do everything you can
Uh-huh.
think of. So I can resonate with the message. So at what point in time did you decide to actually become a chef? Right, because you come from a creative background in marketing, and
Yeah.
you really kind of took that and applied it into what you're doing today. So I want to get into that.
Yeah. That's a tear jerker, if you will. That's a deep one. So I have 3 daughters, and I was going through a divorce
Mm,
around that time. And you know, when you're in the house and you have your routine, you're the the quote unquote husband, you have your duties with that you do as a routine. Coming, going through the divorce, you don't have that same system that
right.
you did. My system was I went to work. So my work at that particular time, and even to today, I'm a executive creative director for ad agencies, and I would go do that, and then come home, cook, prepare food for the girls and my wife, and help out with homework and get them prepared for bedtime, read them bedtime stories after that, and then from there it was wife duty, spend time with her, check in with her, make sure her day was cool. She goes to bed, and then I kick back into gear, following up with work, following up with emails, and then I'm back to the grind early in the morning, right? When that was like taken away from me and I no longer had that, and now I'm in an apartment that I'm not familiar with, I don't have that routine, I don't know kind of what to do with myself. I've always had a passion for cooking, always loved that journey, but I didn't create anything. My trajectory wasn't about cooking at that point. It was family home stability and making sure that the paycheck was constantly coming in.
Right.
So um, I started, playing around more inside the kitchen because I had more time when I didn't have my girls with me.
Right.
And so I was trying to find clever or unique ways to actually have things still in the house that I can still be in the house and the girls can kind of still have my presence there. So I came up with, cook by color, but at the time it was just seasonings that I wanted them to have in the house, but then also um, teach them how to cook by color because that's the way that I cook, literally by color. I don't cook by recipe. The color dictates the next color. So the first color that I put down will dictate the next color.
Mm,
And I wanted to teach them that particular flow, but I wasn't there on a day-to-day basis for them to learn that.
right.
So I started, playing around in the kitchen more and started reaching for the typical things that you would, find, in your cupboards, the, Lowry seasoning salts and um, the McCormick's, this or that. But all of them were a mixture of ingredients. So you get lemon pepper, you get garlic and herb, you get all of these mixed matched colors that don't necessarily go together.
Mm,
And because my creativity from a color palette perspective and understanding what colors do, I wanted to grab single colors, almost like grabbing crayons out of a crayon box. I wanted to select the color so I can put down because the first color would dictate the second color.
right.
And with lemon pepper, you can't do that. The
No.
colors are already combined.
Right.
So I'm stuck with only that flavor profile and not being able to be creative with inside of the kitchen. So I started creating my own seasoning and keeping them all within inside of one color family. And because I'm a dad and trying to make sure that the girls continue to eat healthy, I wanted to have fruits and vegetables mixed in with the herbs and spices.
Okay.
Didn't know that that was, a thing to do or a thing not to do. It was just a thing that I wanted to do for the girls. Again, this was never supposed to be a product to be sold or anything like this. It was just me, messing around in the kitchen. And from there, it created a system for me. And then one of my guys was like, listen, you're always coming up with, good ideas. You can't keep this one to yourself. This one you actually have to like get out there and share it.
Because this was something that you just had internally. You were just doing it for yourself.
Yeah, I was just doing it for myself, and I was
Oh,
doing
wow.
it for my daughters. And, you know, later, started to learn that there's not a product out there that has herbs and spices combined with fruits and vegetables kept within inside a single color family. And by doing that, the profile, the flavors, absolutely incredible.
Wow.
So it's like you fall upon different things and discover things, throughout your journey, and kind of, you're on a particular path that you don't know that you're on. But I feel like, higher beings, God, energy, whatever you believe in, kind of, put you on that particular path. I feel like
Yeah.
I'm dope as an individual. I know that. The things that I create are phenomenal.
Right. Right.
Like I speak to the culture. I know the culture. I know how to communicate to the culture, especially with inside of that advertising, marketing craft. But then being able to continue that with inside of a place that I didn't go to culinary school. So all of my cooking techniques and knowledge comes from me being able to travel the world, me being, taught in front of like iron chefs and being taught different things and different techniques on how to actually do certain things. You kind of find your own path in your own way. Cooking school couldn't have taught me the way that I think about cooking and the health benefits behind it. So I cook with purpose versus cooking based off of a system that is engineered to mimic, every day. Every chef that goes out there that goes to culinary school is taught the same exact way.
Right.
There's a different way to explore food. It's a feeling, it's an energy.
Yeah. And I could only imagine going to other countries
Yeah.
where the way they cook is
Listen.
completely different.
So through advertising, I moved to Qatar, and I was there to help Qatar um, figure out their marketing efforts for the World Cup. Being out there, Iron Chef Morimoto has a restaurant there. He and I met up, started talking. I'm having Chef Morimoto show me how to actually cook sushi or make sushi and prepare it, cure it, do all sorts of different things, and having him using my seasonings to brighten the food or to color the food. And just being in his kitchen, being around his staff, day in and day out, it's absolutely phenomenal. It's like you grow up like watching these guys perform on shows and TV networks, and now you're in front of them. Now you're kind of part of that world.
How was that experience?
Man, it was unbelievable. I'm sitting there in awe because I'm literally, it's like you can have different chefs and different people prepare your food and prepare things and teach you, but to have idols that you actually look up to they become a little bigger than life a little
Right.
bit.
Right. That's
So
pretty
it
cool.
was phenomenal.
So, Marcus, I'm gonna go rewind a little
Yeah.
bit to something that you said earlier. You said you don't cook by recipe; you cook by color,
Yeah.
right? And that's kind of stuck, right? That's why we're going back to it. What does cook by color mean?
All right. So recipes are bullshit. Even the ones that I create, right? So take it in this sense. You're fit, right? Love what you got on. You got your white sneakers, blue jeans, blue shirt to match. The accents of the logo kind of playing in and out of the shirt, right? Matches with your beard, matches with your bling, the whole nine. I like that outfit. I would not go, because this is your recipe, but I wouldn't go and copy this identically. I would go and make it my own. I'll put my swag to it.
Right.
That's what cooking is. That's what, being like looking at a recipe is a guide, because you'll never know how that chef actually prepared it.
Mm.
and what it tastes like for his taste buds.
Like everyone has like their own spin.
Their
What you just said, it kind of reminds me of when you look at the tabloids and they had a section who wore it the best.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
and they have a little bit of different accessories and this, or
Yes.
they
And
fold it up
everybody's
a bit.
fresh is
Right.
different, but you wouldn't go and mimic that same style and put it on.
Right,
You would go and make it your own.
right.
Recipes are the same way. They're just a guide for you to actually do your own thing. Take this out, move that, have this, replace this. But cooking by color plays into complementary colors equals complementary taste. And so, like, you complemented your top with your blue jeans, and then you accented it with the accessories of your shoes.
Right.
Cooking is the same way. So, like, if you took your traditional recipe that has a litany of different ingredients in it, all of those are different colors. You wouldn't dare wear that entire ingredient list. So why cook with it?
Right.
You can start to curate the actual ingredients based off of color. Like, okay, I have my greens here. What can complement my greens? Okay, let's rock with some yellow, or let's rock with some white, or whatever it may be. And then you start to curate those particular ingredients. Now you're color consistent, and those flavors will actually match your taste buds way better than trying to follow the actual ingredient list from somebody else.
You got my head spinning right now because I'm telling you, not too long ago, and it's happened quite frequently recently, where I go to a restaurant and I'm eating something new,
Mhm.
right? And I just when I eat it, it's just like there's just too much going on here.
Mhm.
It tastes a little bit with an aroma, but then it's smoky, and then it's got this, and it's just like it's too much.
Yeah.
This is not enjoyable right now, and it's exactly what you're talking. It's almost like they're just throwing the whole kitchen sink at it.
Yep.
You know,
And it's like you're like that same line of taste profile and thinking follows if you find someone that is, walking down a street in Miami or New York or LA or Chicago, that their outfit is just out of this world and there's just so much going on. It's like dog, what the hell are you doing? It's
right?
like you knew what you put on, but chose not to look in the mirror. It's like, but everybody that's looking at you is like the second guessing. It's like what is actually happening is way too much that's
It
happening.
becomes too loud, and it actually becomes a distraction, a disturbance,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not tasteful.
No, not
Yeah.
at all. And the cool thing about comparing fashion and the culinary space is because they work hand in hand.
What do you mean by that?
Like no one talks about this, and I don't know if they don't think about it this way, but I just happen to do so. My brain is wired different, what have you. But the colors that are in season or from a fashion perspective are the same colors that are in season from a culinary perspective. So your springs, your summers, your winters, your falls, all of those fashion colors, and when you're supposed to wear those particular colors, are the same thing that you're supposed to eat during that season.
That makes sense. I mean, fall time, you got all of the the browns and the
Mhm.
orange and the
The
dark
deeper colors.
right? And that's the trees look like that.
Yep.
What you're eating, pumpkin,
Absolutely.
pumpkin pie, all that stuff has those type of
Yep.
colors.
So you're supposed to eat in season and you're supposed to dress in season. You're not going to wear something that you will wear in the spring or the summer during the fall and the winter
Right.
because it just won't match up that way. One, you need more covering. You need something a little deeper. You need something a little that's going to, cover you, make you warm. Same thing in the winter, the soups, the different dishes, the thicker, the more heartier. It plays directly into that same space. They run
very interesting.
parallel.
Yeah.
So the idea of saying, like the way that I kind of teach from a philosophy perspective is dress your food the same way that you dress yourself. And if you play that throughout the course of the season, you're good.
Okay.
You're good to go 100%.
So if I'm wearing this today,
Mhm.
what am I putting on the food? Blueberries?
So you can go with blueberries for sure. You can do an incredible blueberry salad. And you can actually stay away from the green. You can use different salad pieces and leeks to to hint towards more of the white uh, pieces of color. There's a bunch of different things that you can do with just literally playing off the accent. You can make an incredible blueberry cocktail from it with a foam egg white top to
Okay.
it. Like literally, you can match this entire thing to it. It's like
Yeah.
if we. That's why it's like if we were doing the cooking segment, I wanted to like
Mess
literally
around with
yeah,
that.
mess
Yeah.
around with what you were wearing and actually prepare something
We're gonna get
so
that
that
done
yeah.
one day. We're gonna do it, especially now that I'm hearing it. So, and obviously, I start going. I got one of those minds where I start going. And I'm thinking about my outfit,
Mhm.
and I'm thinking, okay, blueberries. What else got a little bit of that blue tint? The purple
Or just
bluish
the darkness. Yeah,
potatoes. You
absolutely.
things of that nature. So that's very interesting. It'd be interesting to know, especially if you're mixing multiple of those, what kind of flavor profiles are hitting those taste buds,
hmm
right?
It's interesting, man, because it's like most people really can see color and they can dress themselves that way, but feel they don't feel as confident stepping into the kitchen. And hopefully, by them hearing this, they can start to feel more confident in the kitchen by looking at the ingredient list and thinking about the color profile versus the actual taste profile. Because most chefs jump into the kitchen, especially experienced ones, they'll start throwing things together and they're looking for a particular outcome. They know what the thing is that's missing.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't know that. And so they feel, kind of inferior to that particular approach. But hopefully there's, my system is something that they can follow as a healthier system. You don't have as many ingredients in there. You keep everything simplistic
Okay.
and color coordinated. I'm telling you, complementary colors equals complementary taste.
I like that. Explain to me the color harmony, how that truly unlocks the true taste out of it,
Yeah.
right? Like what are my taste buds doing when you go ahead and bring that color harmony together?
So let's take just the pure difference of spicy things and things that bring heat. Like spicy things are like your jalapenos, your serranos, that sort of thing. Heat is more of a um, chipotle, is more of a habanero. Those sort of peppers are different. So one is going to burn your tongue. The other one is just going to heat your body up to where you start sweating.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Right, completely different. But if you add a level of fruit that has a little bit of sweetness to it, like an orange, like if you kept the habaneros and the oranges together, that habanero, it won't peak.
Mm.
It won't destroy your palate. It just evens out because the sugar within inside of the sweetness comes in and plays a role to keep it down.
It balances it
It
out.
balances it out.
Okay,
So
that's where people kind of go with the sweet and spicy type of deal.
yeah, it plays with
Yeah.
that. It plays with the salt and sweetness as well.
Yeah.
When you get into different dessert sort of things, or even a play in savory.
Wow,
But yeah, absolutely.
that's interesting. So now I've seen a lot of your videos and your pictures of you putting things together and
Mhm.
cooking, and it's not just cooking, right? You're dressing this food,
Yeah, absolutely.
you know. And we were talking about dressing ourselves, but you're dressing this food. You're giving a certain look, a certain presentation.
Mhm.
So when we talk about dressing the food, what does that do when it comes to the what is the relationship of eating? What does that do specifically?
It's based on your mood and how you feel.
So you're
Colors.
saying like when you dress up that food and make it look sexy, it's putting you in a different type of mindset?
No, it's so in the idea of if your mood is a particular way, maybe you feel happy, you're gonna grab a color and you're gonna cook with that sort of glee.
Mm,
And so
okay.
your food and the experience comes out that way. So I start looking at it like if I'm preparing a meal, I start looking at what do I want the actual person to feel when I'm cooking. Because I know that colors will dictate a particular or trigger a particular emotion. So
Okay.
what's the emotion that I want them to actually have? And I'll start building the color profile based off of that so that they can have that experience that I'm actually curating or dictating for them to have.
Give me an example of that.
All right, so let's see. If you, from a human behavior perspective, if you're angry and you go sit inside of a blue room or a yellow room, there is no way in hell that you can stay angry. It's impossible. The color triggers your mind to start to be calm, start to
Right.
relax, start to, like, okay, start taking some deep breaths. The colors in our system, in our society, are societal colors, meaning that we know that, red means stop, or red means love, red means anger. Red can't mean all of these all of these things all at the same time, but in our social society, they do, right?
Right.
But um, from a neural perspective, red does not mean that. Orange is red, orange, deep yellows are completely different. They actually insinuate or spike your appetite.
Right. I've heard that. I've
Right.
heard like restaurants actually before they paint the inside of the restaurant,
They start figuring out the
they
color.
fi-
Think
there's
about
science behind it.
Wendy's,
Yeah.
McDonald's, Burger King. They all have the same color palette
Right.
because they are spiking. They know that emotional connection to colors is directed to your neural system and how it, starts to trigger your appetite in that particular manner.
Wow.
So I think I have an advantage because I know these particular things. So like if you're in the kitchen and you're feeling a particular way, you're feeling happy, it plays into the cook by color system because I've kind of named them in that particular way. Like I have a black one. It's called Sassy Me.
Mm.
And it has, black sesame seeds and it, black truffles in it. Um, it's a beautiful aromatic combination that makes you feel a particular way. Now, whatever your sexy is, whatever your fresh is, that's your sassiness in the kitchen.
Mm.
There's another one called Me, Myself, and Lime, and there's lime, basil, cilantro, green chilies, and kiwi mixed in,
Okay.
and it's like
Mm.
it just makes you smile. It makes you feel a particular way, and so when you're grabbing colors, it definitely has an emotional pull and connection to how you want to feel, how you currently feel, and how you want people to experience that feeling.
Wow. 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 Now that's not something that happens overnight. What you've developed. I mean, you had to do some research, some
a ton of-
education. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not just going and say, you know what, I'm just going to grab everything that's green in the grocery store and put it together.
Yeah,
you know?
most people don't know what the balance profile would be to be able to do that. That's why I feel like I've given people a cheat code in the kitchen. So instead of buying the cilantro, the green chilies, the kiwi, the basil, all of those things, and understanding the math and the percentage of how much to use to have the flavor come out right. Because if you just throw all of it in there equally, you're not going to have a balanced meal. Something
Right.
is going to overpower. Something is going to undertake. You need to know that, and most people don't. And I did all the research. I did the math. I went through the levels of tasting. Brought this up, brought this down. This peaked too high, or this made it bitter. Add this. I've done all of that work so people can just flavor comfortably and have confidence with just sprinkling it on top. You can flavor your food with it. You can marinate your food with it. You can garnish your food with it. And even if you have food that you order like, some takeout, whatever the takeout is, Chinese pizza, whatever, you can still add, flavor on top of it
Right.
to get exactly, what you want.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
So, you've taken a step with this where you've made sure to put all natural ingredients, right?
Absolutely.
You've put no anti-caking type of chemicals in it,
Yeah.
you know. And so my question to you is, was there any kind of health scare or something that happened to you personally that told you, you know what, I need to make this healthy?
Yeah, I mean, I think one, naturally I wanted to make it healthy because I'm a healthy individual, from the start.
Right.
I've been, this way ever since I was a teenager. And the second part of that is our people, blacks and Latinos, are dying at a crazy rate from health issues.
Right. Hypertension,
Hypertension,
diabetes, all that
diabetes,
stuff.
obesity, you name it. And either it is hereditary or it's caused through, poor eating habits or not having the knowledge to actually eat. But all through that, you have to kind of figure out, a way to start eating clean because now your health definitely depends on it. It depended on it before, but now you know that it depends on it because now it's life or death. Family members, today, a few of my tios, my tias, they all have diabetes,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
which is crazy. My grandfather, passed away because of complications with diabetes. My grandmother, has, heart issues and high blood pressure. And it's like all of it, kind of pushed me into that realm of making sure that anything that I did or brought to market was going to help them eat clean and
Mm.
eat healthier. And most of the seasonings that exist out there, literally, like my brand is the cleanest label on the market.
Nice.
It has no GMO, no MSG, no additives, and no preservatives. And it still keeps the life shelf past a year.
Wow.
Most seasonings end up caking up because they're poorly made and they do have all of those things in it. And then also, they're normally kept near the stove or kept, in the kitchen to where
So many
it's
people do
heat.
that.
Right. And it's hot in the kitchen.
Right.
The seasonings, the seasonings will start to, cake up and start to, get rock hard because you didn't keep it in the refrigerator. My seasonings are fresh, they're healthy. Keep them in the refrigerator for longevity, and you know you'll be good to go.
Yeah. So the refrigeration part of it, I
Mhm.
want to talk about that because I'll tell you a lot of the dry seasonings that are next to the stove in the oven, right?
Yeah,
They tend to lose their taste.
absolutely.
And really, the only taste you're getting out of it is the heavy amount of sodium that they put into it.
Yep.
So what made you make that decision where you said, you know what, we're gonna remove it from the traditional, putting it next to the oven, next to the stove. Forget about the pantry where it's also getting some heat.
Yeah,
Let's go ahead and put it inside of the
the
refrigerator.
refrigerator. I think the decision came with really me trying to figure out how to preserve my own products, and
Mm,
then through the refrigeration, learn that they kept their purity, they kept their flavor, they didn't cake up. It was a way to, um, also teach people how to actually utilize seasonings because seasonings and raw spices are completely different. They're not the same thing. Seasonings are a combination of spices combined into, one bottle. Spices and herbs are just, solo by themselves.
right.
So you will have your cinnamons, you will have your garlic by itself and stuff like that. Those are one-offs. You don't need any preservatives. Most companies end up, putting them in there because it's cheaper. They can make the product cheaper and, go off and sell it and put it into the market that way. It doesn't mean that it's healthy for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like fatherhood really also triggered something for
Absolutely.
making this stuff very
Yeah,
healthy?
yeah. Because I put my daughters first in what I wanted them to have versus, coming into the space trying to make money for it because it was never meant to be on the market in that particular
Right.
way. It found its way through that avenue or that street, and it was already thought of. And once I you know thought about my daughter, I thought about our people
Right.
and the issues. And because I come from a marketing and advertising background, I start looking at the demographics, start looking at where the problems are, start looking at how my product can kind of fit with inside of the market from a health perspective and help our people, eat better and eat cleaner. It's like I had a boy, best friend, name is Kenyan Gee, from New York, from Brooklyn. Um, and he passed away from cancer. But
Mm.
while he was doing his, going through his battle and going through chemo, he kind of lost his taste
Mm.
through the
Okay.
chemo because it was killing his taste buds. So
Oh.
he couldn't taste food the same way. And the things that he was adding on to even eat clean, the flavors it was like it was just bland for him. And so when he was telling me about this, I started, tweaking the ingredient profile so that it helped, cancer patients and people that were going through dietary restrictions that they can actually have flavorful food and stop mistaking salt as flavor, because salt is not flavor. Salt is not a spice. It really doesn't belong in the kitchen. It is a chemical compound that brightens your food because it's chemically induced.
Mm.
It's not food.
Right.
And our bodies can only handle a certain amount of sodium throughout the day in the first place.
Right.
But most of our foods have sodium in it. So we over index on pretty much everything that we eat.
Yeah. Heavily.
Heavily.
Yeah.
And so then when we come home, when we start cooking, we're adding more to it.
Right.
It's like the one thing that's always like perplexed me about sodium and salt is how much people add to meat. Meat already has sodium in it.
Right.
Fish comes from salt water. It was born with it. So why are you adding so much more to it? You're killing the actual natural flavors of it.
Right.
And instead of, there's a reason why it's a pinch of salt, because literally you just need a little to brighten the flavor base that you already have to bring it out. That is all salt is for. But most
Wow.
people end up cooking with it, start abusing it. They keep it on the table, salt table, and kind of confuse the flavor for it.
And not only that, man, but when you start looking at the different profile of salts that are out there,
Mhm.
right?
It's a huge market for it.
That typical table salt. I mean, a lot of that stuff is toxic. It's poison.
Yep.
It's not the Himalayan sea salt. It's
Mhm.
not the desert sea salt.
No, it's mass produced.
It's
man.
mass produced, and it's produced as a chemical.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's very interesting, though, about the salt, how it's not supposed to be the thing that's actually giving the food flavor, but it's supposed to enhance the flavor.
It's just supposed to enhance. It can't give it flavor because it doesn't have any flavor. If you
Right.
just cooked with salt,
Right.
it will have zero flavor. It will literally taste like salt. It would
Yeah.
be too overpowering, right?
Right.
So you don't need a lot. It literally is just it's a chemical compound to actually brighten the food, and you just need a little bit of it.
Wow. So we talked about the minority community and some of the issues that we're seeing: the high
Yeah.
blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, diabetes,
Obesity.
and we talked about the kids.
Mhm.
So I want to go to that demographic, the kids in the minority communities, because I'll tell you, growing up in the inner city,
Mhm.
I used to remember being out on the bus stop in the morning and kids, and I was guilty of it too as a kid. We'd
Mhm.
go to the corner store, grab a bag of hot Cheetos
Yep.
and a Fanta, and that was breakfast.
Yep. Or a
Right.
honey bun.
Yeah. The little Debbie's and all of that stuff. Yeah, so and back then they were nice and cheap. You get them for 10 cents, 15 cents, 25 cents,
Yeah,
whatever
Twinkies,
it
the
is,
whole
yeah.
nine.
So I want you to kind of, as a chef with
Yeah.
natural products who has a passion behind people eating healthy,
Mhm.
I want you to comment on what the actual true problem is within our communities and really what would be the correct solution for that.
I think it's lack of information.
Right.
I think our demo lacks a lot of information from health to finances, and we're starting to get better at it, but we're still at a greater deficit than other races
Right.
in that same bracket. Even it's like you can go from a economic bracket and look at everybody across the board. Latinos and blacks are still at a lower rate than everybody else, and we have a higher index from a chronic disease perspective that hits on the same things that we spoke about.
Yeah.
So we have to. I think what will help is one, more conversations like this, and getting the word out about different ways to actually explore eating and having a joy behind it. It's like, and taking away that stigma that you need salt at the table to prepare your meals or to add when the meal is there, um, and understanding exactly what it does to your body and how much you're supposed to intake. Literally, so if you took a teaspoon and you broke a teaspoon into thirds, is 1/3 of a teaspoon of salt. That's all your body needs for the entire day.
Mm.
But it's inside of our sodas, it's inside of our juices, it's inside of our orange juices and
Everywhere.
teas and all these other things. It's everywhere.
Too much.
So you have to be extremely aware of how much is actually in everything so that you can stay away from as much as you can to balance out your body, and making sure that you drink a ton of water, making sure that you are flavoring your food with healthy items and eating healthy. Fried food, stay away from those particular
Right.
things. Um, I think it's just a level of education and knowledge, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree
that's
with
what I
that.
think.
So when it comes to the different flavors and the different seasonings that you have,
Mhm.
I remember growing up. I'm Dominican, so you can just imagine how mom would cook and grandma
Mhm.
how they would cook. It's just full of flavor. And then in the neighborhood, you had African American, which would cook a certain way as well
Sure.
too. But then you had
Soul food and the whole
also
nine.
some of my white American friends that if we'd go over to the house,
Food
we
is
would always be
bland.
like, "Ah, why is this? Where's the
Yeah,
flavor
where's
at?"
the
You
flavor, right?
and so where I'm going with this is, how does your product become like all inclusive for everybody? For
Mhm.
the white American who is used to eating bland food, how is this hitting different taste buds in the different ethnicities and different cultures that are out there? How does
Mhm.
that fit in?
I think it fits in from a universal thought of just eating healthier, right? So even though those white families lacked flavor from a table sitting or eating perspective, or we had way too much going on, so we understood flavor in a different way. I think that universally, health in itself, and understanding that you can eat healthy and have flavor at the same time. You don't have to substitute one for the other. I
Right.
think in our culture, plays a little more heavy into that idea of, I don't want anything bland, and don't substitute my flavors. But the only substitution is not knowing what to substitute it with to have a better flavor profile.
Mm.
So they'll use barbecue sauces that have high sugars and um, high sodium and all these things in it, because for them it tastes good because it has a lot of flavor to it. So I'll sacrifice my health for the actual flavor.
Right. Right.
My product, especially the barbecue sauce, it is literally the lowest calorie intake on any barbecue sauce out there in the world. Not just here in the States, but across the
Oh
globe.
wow, man! I'm gonna
It
have to
is,
have some of that.
bro, it is 23 calories per serving in the bottle itself. So it's
Wow.
like, but it's just raw flavor. And there's, four different colors. It's like now you can explore and have fun. I think the task of the mom cooking in the kitchen, even nowadays the father cooking in the kitchen, they run into not what's the word? They run into this idea of things feeling mundane and repetitive. The same thing from a health perspective, when you start meal prepping throughout the course of the week, by Wednesday, you get tired of eating, what you actually made because it's just repetition
Right.
of the same thing and the same thing. You want something to be able to play back and forth, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that, Cook by Color helps with, moms and dads just trying to, make something healthy at home, but then have different varieties of flavor to be able to, have their kids eat with. Because kids will tell you instantly, we're having this again. We just had this last week. It's like, but mom is running out of options. Dad is running out of options. Same thing from a meal prepping perspective. I meal prep on Sundays, but I meal prep naked. And so there's a difference between dressing your food and having it naked. Naked is just literally cooking your meats, cooking your vegetables to perfection, and adding the flavor profile after.
What do you mean? Like use it like a dipping sauce instead, or
No. So like, I can take ginger teas and say I had salmon, and I cooked the salmon with some oil, put it inside of the oven, baked it, or put it on the skillet, what have you, right? But I didn't cook it with any seasoning. I didn't cook it with anything but it's natural. I want the cook on it to be absolutely perfect.
Okay.
Right? When I take it out and I start breaking it down, I have my Monday through Sunday, I have all 7 trays out and I put salmon in each one. I can take ginger teas, put that on there. I can put me, myself, and lime on the second one. I can put sassy me on the third one.
Wow.
I can have me time on the fourth one. I could put habla habanero on the fifth one. Like, you have an array of different ways to meal prep to keep things
Right.
enjoyable each and every time that you cook. You don't have to cook it the
Yeah.
same way. It gives you the space to be able to do that. The other brands that are out there don't give you that space because they are already locked into their particular profile.
Right.
And so that's why I said I love the idea of being able to go inside the cabinet or the refrigerator and grab a color that I feel inspired by that particular time of day. And most seasonings don't allow you to actually use it as a garnish. You have to cook with it. It has to soak into it. Because there's no additives, preservatives, GMO, or MSG in them, you get to taste the actual flavor
Right.
that was intended for it versus it being masked.
Right. Wow, I like that because that is one of the issues with like meal prepping.
Yeah.
Is that you kind of get sick and tired of the same thing,
Absolutely.
and when you could have, it's like you have a different meal every single time,
Mhm.
even though the base is the same. You're changing the flavor with the product.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
So let's talk about, obviously being Latino.
Mhm.
Let's talk about adobo, right? Because adobo, everybody uses adobo.
Yeah.
If you're, to be honest with you, I think everybody has adobo at their house, regardless if they're Latino or not.
Or tahine.
Right. So for me, you look at the ingredients in adobo, like the one from Goya,
Mhm.
and there's nothing but like a lot of toxic chemicals in there. Now there are a few
High
companies
sodium. Yeah.
that make some natural adobo,
Mhm.
but talk to me about what's happening in adobo and how can we enhance this thing, and they're throwing like a bunch of stuff in there. Now it
Mhm.
tastes good. At least I was born into that,
Sure.
so I think it tastes good. So what do you think? What's your input on adobo?
I mean, I think they run the same, the same gamut of trying to create a product that the people can purchase at a discount,
Mm,
right? And when you start looking at, doing it for those particular reasons, there's a lot of corners that get cut. And you start adding in different things that shouldn't be there, but it pushes the price point. It allows for people to actually purchase it. And it kind of falls into more of a business decision versus um, a decision on trying to be healthy, for the demographic or for the people,
right.
you know?
You know what I find interesting about something like adobo is, and I don't have the answer to this, and I don't know if you have an answer to this, but how some of these seasonings that are out there, they've been able to really create it and make it part of a culture, right? When you got jerk seasoning, right? Everybody knows what jerk seasoning is.
I love that you're getting ready to ask this question.
The Jamaicans, right? The adobo. You got Montreal seasoning. Everybody knows Montreal seasoning.
Yeah.
You have what's the other one? Old Bay seasoning.
Old Bay,
You know. So my question to you is, with Cook by Color,
Yeah.
how do we make it the next Montreal, the next Old Bay seasoning, the next adobo?
Yeah.
What's your plan to get there?
All right. First of all, which camera can I look at real quick? This one. All right. Yo, I'm about to fuck everybody up with this. There is no such thing as taco seasoning. There is no such thing as pasta seasoning. There's no such thing as Italian seasoning or anything across the board. That is like the biggest myth in the world in the seasoning category. There is no such thing. You can flavor your pasta however way you want to. You can flavor your tacos however way you want to. Your burritos, whatever it may be that you are flavoring, you can flavor it any way. Nothing has a set taste, and you can't bottle it.
Right.
Because cooking, then where's the joy? Where's the fun in it? Where's the exploratory aspect of being able to literally have fun and do your thing in the kitchen and not someone else's thing?
Right.
Because whoever created those particular seasoning packs, they did it for two reasons. One, unfortunately, the world is lazy as hell and they need convenience. They want something quick. They don't want to think. So they have these prepackaged things so that they can, move through life easier. Like, oh, this is Italian seasoning. Oh, this is, beef stroganoff seasoning or sloppy Joe seasoning or whatever it may be. Those things don't exist. And so people get into the habit of being lazy and not having enough time to, do the things that you may. But also, again, a lack of knowledge of understanding that this is going to take you the same amount of time to be creative in the kitchen and start thinking versus thinking that you don't have enough time because you're coming in from the job, you're running into the store, you have a certain amount of time to get food onto the into the kitchen and start cooking for your family so the family can go to bed and start doing your thing. It's like everything is pressured time, but it takes the same amount of time to actually prepare the same healthy meal that it does to make an unhealthy meal.
Right. Yeah, it's almost like we've fallen to become part of that system.
Absolutely.
That food system.
Yeah.
The food system that's killing a lot of us, to be honest with you.
You know what, man? It's like I may, be shot at for this, but I firmly feel like there's a system that's trying to kill us.
Oh, 100%.
I feel like, and I'm going to go on record and say that I feel like America is trying to kill us. There's a system of keeping us sick. There's a money grab of keeping our people sick.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And because the products that are sold here can't get sold in London or in Europe.
Right.
Let's just take ketchup. Ketchup has, if you look at your normal ketchup bottle, it has about half the bottle is sugar.
Mm-hmm.
They can't sell that in another country. They have to actually reduce it to meet the country's guidelines on healthy eating and living.
Right.
We don't have any guidelines. Everything here is pay to play. You pay somebody off, you can put your product out there.
That's the truth. Now, Marcus, there is a big movement going on right now called Make America Healthy Again.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually exposing a lot of these food companies. There's a lady, Vani Harris. She actually led the whole petition, the big petition against Kellogg's.
Okay.
Because of all the coloring and the food dyes that they're putting in the cereals and stuff. So, RFK Jr. is the head of HSS, and is leading the way when it comes to HHS. Sorry, HSS is the hospital that I'm working to deal with. So I always get them mixed up because of the initials. But what he's doing is holding these people accountable because of the corruption.
Mm.
So I want to ask you, what are your thoughts about the MAHA movement, Make America Healthy Again, and what they're doing to improve our food system and everything else?
Yeah, one man, I think it's needed. It's absolutely needed. There's not a governing force to mandate healthier items or healthier options, even all the way down to the fact that you don't have to put which chicken is cloned or not inside of the grocery stores.
Right.
It's like if the person doesn't have knowledge, into what they're actually eating, then what choices do we actually have? We're being lied to, or we don't know exactly what to look for. Most of the information is so high up, it doesn't trickle down to the homes that actually need it, that are looking to actually feed their families, and they don't know what to look for. So having a governing force to actually help do these things and actually help push out, healthier products into those particular realms and those fields, I think is brilliant. It's something that's absolutely needed.
It's needed. It's
Yeah.
needed. And our communities need it
Yeah,
tremendously.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think just across the board, it's like, take politics out of it. It's like, we need something. We need clarity.
Right.
We need transparency. And as long as we can do that, any way that I can help or get behind it, and push towards that transparency, and also have healthy options for our people to have, man, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with it, man. So, everything that you're doing and creating is not something that you could just go based off of creativity, right? There's a component of education and trying to figure things out.
Sure.
So how do you keep yourself responsible on making sure that you continue to produce a high quality product
Mhm.
and stick with what your mission is making sure that it's natural and it's hitting all of the
Yeah.
points that
Like, how
when it
do I
comes
hold
to
myself accountable to
yeah
those
yeah
particular things? I think I've gotten to the point to where it doesn't matter the dollar amount that it takes me to make it. Like, I deal with my co-packer all the time, and we're constantly, negotiating prices and looking at different price lists, or, the turmeric is coming in at this price, or the truffles are coming in at this price. What do you want to do? And my answer to him is always, it has to be all natural, and it has to be healthy. I don't want anything in it. I don't care about the price of it. I'll eat the price and keep the price where it is. It's from a profit margin perspective, because I'm not in it to. And I know a bunch of entrepreneurs and business people will be like, that's the wrong idea, but I'm not in it for profit gains in that particular matter.
right
Yes, I want the company to do well. Yes, I want to be able to eat off of the company and have that be the one thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be my hustle, right?
right
But at the same time, I care enough about who is actually going to actually consume it. So I don't want to be part of the problem that exists out there from a profit perspective.
right
I'll get the profit down, or get the pricing right when I can start buying in bulk. And I'm okay with that.
right
I'm okay with the high price that it costs me today, because I know that, tomorrow I'll be able to lower the price and get it down because I'm buying in bulk. Right now, I'm in what, most entrepreneurs, when they starting off and getting their thing off, they're looking at different costs. You can't do everything in bulk. The bottles, the co-packing, the actual seasoning, that's like all of those things has a price point to
right
it.
right
So I think for me, man, it's just really, I care about my people.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
And you know what, man, that's a powerful thing to say about keeping the integrity of the product intact,
Yeah.
because a lot of people, greed starts to, play a role, and all
Mhm.
of a sudden they're cutting corners, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden now you don't have the quality product that you had.
Yeah.
So keep on doing that, and even when you get some of the bigger players wanting to tap into your company,
Mhm.
one of the things that's important is to make sure that you hold them accountable to keep
Yeah.
that. And
Absolutely. Like, I'll say this last thing. Like for like me, myself, and lime, the green coloring is all natural. When you start looking at other products that have basil, that have cilantro, is brown when you get it at the store. That's a process that's cheaper because it dries out the actual ingredient. My ingredients are freeze dried, which is a different process. It's a more expensive process,
right,
but you keep the nutrients and the color together
right,
versus losing it when you're going the cheaper route.
yeah, yep, yep. No, I love that. Just a couple days ago, I was at Rohan Marley's house down in Miami.
Okay.
Bob Marley's son, who took over a lot of the empire that
Okay.
they have, and he was talking about their Marley coffee that they have, and he was
Mm.
telling me the whole story behind it. Of For him, it's important to make sure that there's no pesticides in the farms or any of
Mhm.
that. And when a lot of these corporate people came in, trying to be part of the business, they started telling him, "Oh no, you got to do this. If not, the crops won't grow." And he says, "Absolutely not. He's going to keep the integrity of the high quality
Yeah,
coffee
absolutely.
beans." So that's something that's important.
Yeah,
Yeah, very
absolutely. It's
important, especially in
important, man.
today's world. Um, so when someone taps into your product,
Mhm.
what is it that you want them to leave off with after they try your product?
Pure delight. It's like I want people to understand that one, cooking is fun and everybody can flavor their food to their taste buds specifically versus going after and trying to taste or have it taste like something that someone else's tongue is everybody's taste buds is unique.
Right.
You'll never know that. So be exploratory, have fun in the kitchen and play with colors. It's like,
Yeah.
cooking is joyful. It's a, especially for me, it's a stress reliever at the same time. And I get lost in the kitchen. I get happy when people experience my food or they experience the product and they send me, a comment that says how they've done it. Because the way I cook by color is going to be different than the way that you cook by color.
Right.
And it's like if we can share this universe of different ways to actually cook by color and have some fun in the kitchen and eat healthier, that's the win for me.
That's powerful, brother.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the product. What do we
Yeah.
got here?
All right, so we have this is Berry Good for Me agave, and Berry Good for Me has acai berry, raspberry, elderberry, and butterfly pea mixed in with organic agave.
Sounds
All right.
really good.
Then we have seasoning. We have ginger teas here. It has ginger, turmeric, sweet carrot, and lemon
Okay.
placed in. Then we have one that's called Me Time. It has thyme in it. Hatch. Hatch is a pepper. So
Okay.
it has a little kick to it, a little bit of heat. And then coconut H3O.
What is
And
that?
so fruit water or water that comes from fruit is H3O, it's not H2O.
Okay.
So it's coconut water that's been mixed in. And again, we're able to freeze dry the coconut water and break it down into a powder
That's pretty
and
cool.
then add it into the actual product. And then it also has a little bit of mint added to it. And then we have Habla Habanero agave, which has habanero, bell peppers, oranges, and carrot mixed in. And again, organic avocado. And then we have habanero, Habla Habanero barbecue sauce. Again, has habanero peppers, bell pepper, oranges, and carrot. And just to It has, let's see, it has 15 calories in it per serving.
That's nothing.
The flavor is crazy.
Wow.
So just think about, a change up on your buffalo wings, or a change up
Yeah.
on a dipping sauce that you may want to, dip anything into. It's like it runs the gamut. We also have organic avocado oil, which is flavored. We
Nice.
have 5 of those. Like the entire product line is about 23 SKUs.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, and then it's about 12 colors.
So let me
total.
ask you,
Yeah.
which one is it? I know they're all it, but which one is for you? Which one is like that
For me,
you're
my
most
go-to-
proud about? Yeah.
My go-to is probably habla habanero, seasoning, me, myself, and lime, sassy me, and probably the new one, which is called a salt and buttery.
Salt and buttery. Okay.
Yeah, a salt and buttery has Celtic salt, and it's the only one that has salt in it.
Okay.
It has Celtic salt,
Which has a lot of health properties.
ton
to
of
it.
health properties. Has marigold flowers, mango mixed in, and grass-fed butter.
Wow.
Again,
Wow.
being able to take the butter, freeze dry it, and break it into a powder and add it to it. It has the most delicious buttery popcorn scent and flavor profile to it.
Man, so one thing that I really like to do is like when I have chicken wings, grilled chicken wings, I like to just
As opposed to fake chicken wings.
grilled chicken wings instead of
the clone,
the fried ones and all that. Yeah, the KFC ones that got like 30 arms coming out of the chicken. So when I have chicken wings, I like to put just a dry seasoning on them. I'm that kind of guy who just like a nice dry rub.
Yeah.
What would you recommend for chicken wings out of the ones that you have?
Oh, geez. See, here's the other thing. I'll answer the question, but there's a backup to it. So I would say just dry seasoning. I would go with a sassy me mixed with a ginger teas.
Okay.
Now I've in trying the products and developing them, you start putting them to the test as to what goes good on this, or what it can't do. I have not found anything that ginger teas cannot do. I've placed it inside of milk. It makes an incredible golden milk.
Really?
Oh my gosh. Mix it with mix your milk with ginger teas and a little bit of ginger teas agave. Will blow your mind.
Huh.
Add a little bit of sinfully, which is our cinnamon base. Absolutely crazy taste profile.
Interesting.
But yeah, from a chicken wing perspective, dry raw perspective, I'll definitely do the sassy me mixed in with ginger teas. If I wanted a little bit of heat, I will add some habla habanero seasoning to it. But again, if you look at the profile, yellow and orange melds together perfectly.
Right.
The accent is black. So you add in, the black respectively to complement the yellow and orange, play.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now, what I was going to say about what you were asking about, which one goes on what, I think that is part of the systematic issue with thinking that a particular seasoning or flavor or whatever you're doing has to go on something that's specific.
Right.
Like again, like your
It should be
tacos-
personalized. You just try it
your
out.
Tacos can have whatever you want it to be. They're your tacos. They're not anybody else's.
Right.
So so flavor,
Yeah.
based off of how you feel.
I've never had like Alfredo tacos, but I might try it one day. And things like that. You go to restaurants where all of a sudden I'm the kind of guy who goes to a restaurant where they have something kind of unique that's out of the norm, and I want to try it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And about 9 out of 10 times, it's pretty darn good.
Yeah,
they put it on the menu for a reason.
absolutely.
So, No, I appreciate that. So if people want to find the product, where can they find the product?
So right now we are in two places. One, cookbycolor.com, 100%. Everything is there. Also the TikTok shop. We have items there. And then last but not least, actually three. Last but not least is the Amazon store.
Amazon store.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. So Marcus, we're going to have a little fun here real quick.
Okay.
One of my favorite podcasters, the podcast is called The Diary of a CEO,
Okay.
Stephen Bartlett.
Yeah.
He came out with these conversation cards.
Okay.
So you're going to open this up, grab a card from the middle of it, you'll read it and answer it.
Oh, jeez.
You're picking it, not me.
All right. Let's see what we got. Can you describe what winning means to you? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. What winning looks like, or what winning means to me. I think what it means to me is winning in this space is freedom.
What do you mean by freedom?
So like the big boys run it, right? The McCormicks of the world run this space.
Right.
And being able to compete with them, having a facility set up to where we have R&D, we can bring the cost down, everything is manufactured in-house, the co-packers, everything, the bottling, all the systems are in-house, to circumvent the high cost and high rate of, going third party and stuff like that. To be able to have the world experience a new cooking method that is conducive to the way that they cook, that's a huge win.
Wow.
It's like in literally like it brings tears to my eyes because it's it is something that that they can't take from us.
Right.
It's like, this little boy from Chicago created something that the world can actually experience in a healthier and different way, and we're not locked into the BS.
Right.
Like we're locked into a system to where we have to do things based off of our pocketbooks.
Right.
I want Cook by Color to be in every kitchen so that everybody eats healthier.
Yeah. And that's something that's neat.
Yeah.
So now let me ask you something.
I hate this card.
You know what, man? I'll be honest with you. Them cards have brought a lot of tears to many different people.
God damn it.
I think I'm going to come up with my own set of cards and call them the tear cards.
Jesus.
So would you ever see yourself collaborating with a company like McCormick? If they come knocking on the door and says, "Hey, we love your product. How can we help you?"
There would be a lot of things that they would have to okay for me to be okay with that.
Right.
Because getting it to the masses where they've grown to, they've spent years and generations,
Right.
doing so.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Creating generational wealth and all of those beautiful things. They're not my enemy. They're not the enemy either. They're just part of the system.
Right.
And so if, someone would, come like them, it would have to make sure that everything stayed intact.
Yeah.
The price point would definitely go down. The bottles are not inexpensive, and so it would definitely help from that standpoint. But they would definitely have to keep everything intact, and I would love to stay on and to make sure that everything stayed intact, and then be able to flavor the world. Because the beautiful thing about the system itself is not just these individual bottles. I can flavor popcorn, any particular snack, any particular beverage with these healthy ingredients because they don't have any of the BS that's in
Right.
most things. So if a company is out there and they have a healthy product or they're trying to make a healthy product and need some help, creating the flavor profile, we have the flavors. We can easily flavor it. Because when we were first starting and I was doing like the farmers market, like we flavored gourmet popcorn and it was phenomenal. Couldn't keep it in the booth. People were just buying it all day, and that's why I mentioned the beverage to you earlier. Like we were selling out. It's like if we can flavor everything inside the kitchen for home cooks, but then also your healthy snack eaters and your college students that they only have access to ramen, but it's filled with sodium and very little flavor. What if we flipped that? We partnered with, Top Ramen and had our seasonings flavor it to where it's all natural and healthy
That'd be pretty cool.
for students.
Yeah.
Then the diabetes and the high blood pressure and the obesity rate, or that idea of the college 10, wouldn't exist or can come down.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
I like that. I like that. Marcus, if someone who's listening or viewing this podcast resonates with today's message, what is one thing that you can leave them off with?
Cook by color. like legit. Without, it plays a beautiful way with inside of the branding, but literally explore food and colors differently.
Right.
Use complementary colors so that you can gain complementary taste. Dress your food like you dress yourself. All of those particular elements, regardless on if you're using my products or not, will help you gain better taste profiles that is more engineered to your body, your style, your flair, your swag, whatever that may be, but is more conducive to you versus anybody else. And we are all individuals and we should not be anything but ourselves.
I love that. And as we wrap up here, if people want to find you, where can they find you?
They can find me, one, cookbycolor.com. Two, from a social media perspective, on IG, it's I Cook by Color. On TikTok, it is Cook by Color. Yeah.
Amazing, brother.
Those are the
Amazing.
three.
Well, listen, man, this was a powerful message.
Yeah, man.
And this was
This was
one that
great.
I was waiting for. So I appreciate you sharing this information to the masses. And
I
thank you for
appreciate
being on a healthy point of view podcast.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I can't believe you got me to fucking cry.
All right, guys, you heard Marcus. Cook by color. We could get those taste buds jumping and dancing the way they should. Make sure you cook the way you dress yourself. And if you dress tacky, we got something for you. Cook by color. Guys, eating healthy is extremely important. This is something that you should definitely share with your friends, your family. Everyone has to eat. Everybody loves good food. Everybody loves having great flavor. So make sure you share, comment, do all that fun stuff, and we'll see you for the next one.